All right, let's pull back the curtain on something that sounds super complicated but is actually keeping our digital world spinning, the IT audit. We're going to break down what it is, why it's so important, and who the unsung heroes are behind the scenes. So, let's kick things off with a feeling I'm pretty sure we all know.
You know the feeling, right? You're right in the middle of something. Could be work, could be just scrolling, and then poof, the app just freezes up and dies. It's so frustrating, and it totally wrecks your flow. Okay, now take that frustration and multiply it by, I don't know, 1,000,000? For a business, when a system goes down, it's not just annoying, it can be a complete catastrophe. We're talking lost money, furious customers, and everything just grinding to a halt. So how on earth do companies stop that from happening?
Well, they call in the digital detectives, or as they're officially known, IT auditors. These are the folks who go through a company's technology with a fine-toothed comb, searching for any weakness or crack in the system before it turns into a total disaster.
This quote right here really gets to the core of it. Their job isn't just about finding what's broken. It's about giving assurance. Basically, it's their job to make sure the company and you can be confident that the services we all depend on are actually going to work when we need them. To become a certified pro in this field, an auditor has to be an expert in a few different areas. You can see here how their knowledge is broken down for their big certification exam. It covers everything from the audit process itself to protecting a company's most valuable digital assets.
But we're going to zoom in on one slice of that pie in particular, 23%. That's a huge chunk, right? Nearly a quarter of everything an auditor needs to know is wrapped up in this one area. So, what is it?
This is it. It's all about making sure the systems are running smoothly day to day and that they can bounce back when things go horribly wrong. You could say this is the absolute heart of keeping a business's digital lights on.
So let's break that mission down. Part 1 is all about the here and now. It's looking at the day-to-day health of a company's IT systems.
An auditor always starts with the basics, the foundation. They're looking at the actual hardware, the physical computers and servers. They check how the company tracks all its tech, how different systems are talking to one another, and even how employees are using their computers.
Okay, once the foundation seems solid, they move up a level to the processes. How does the company deal with problems when they pop up? How do they roll out updates without, breaking everything in the process? The idea is to have a solid, repeatable plan for pretty much any situation.
And finally, they get to the most important part, the data, the crown jewels. They dig into how that data is protected, how the databases are managed, and whether the systems can even handle the workload without slowing to a crawl. It's all about making sure the whole digital ecosystem is healthy from the ground up.
But what happens when a real crisis hits? We're not talking a small bug. We're talking a massive power outage, a flood, a huge cyber attack. That brings us to the second and maybe most critical part of an auditor's job, business resilience.
This is where the auditor goes into full-on what-if mode. They check if the company has actually figured out what's absolutely essential for survival. They make sure the systems are tough enough to take a hit, that data is backed up somewhere safe, and, this is the big one, that there's an actual tested plan to get everything back up and running. So we know what they look for, but how do they actually do it? Let's peek inside the auditor's toolkit and see how they dig up the facts.
Okay, a really central idea here is the two main types of controls. You've got preventive controls. Think of these like a big lock on a door. They're there to stop something bad from happening in the first place. Then you have detective controls. These are more like a security camera. They don't stop the break-in, but they record it, which is absolutely critical for figuring out what happened.
So, let's play this out. A visitor sneaks into a secure area right behind an employee. The key card system, a preventive control, totally failed. The bad thing has already happened. So what kind of control is going to be helpful now?
Exactly. A detective control. That camera system caught the whole thing, giving you a record of who got in and when. Auditors are always looking for a smart mix of both types of controls. Because, let's be real, no single security measure is ever foolproof.
Now, an auditor can't possibly check every single thing a company does. It's just impossible. So they use clever techniques like sampling. And one of the most effective is called stratified sampling. It's a really smart way to get a good picture of what's going on without checking millions of transactions.
It sounds complex, but the idea is simple. Instead of just picking random payments out of a giant list, an auditor will first group them by risk. So you'd have your small, everyday payments in one bucket and the huge multi-million-dollar ones in another.
Then, they test a few from each bucket. This makes sure they're not missing the really high-risk stuff. It's just a way more efficient way to find problems.
Okay, so we've looked at what they do and how they do it, but let's bring this all home. Why does all this behind-the-scenes work actually matter to us?
This quote from the official guidelines really sums it up perfectly. The whole point is to make sure all this fancy technology is actually helping the business and its customers. It's not about having tech just for the sake of it. It's about making sure it's reliable and supports what the organization is trying to do.
When you really get down to it, this is all about trust. Every single time you open an app or use your credit card or log into a website, you're trusting the technology behind it. IT audits are what makes that trust possible. They ensure our digital world is built to last and can keep our information safe.
And that leaves us with one final thing to think about. With AI and the cloud making everything more powerful but also way more complex, the quiet, careful work of these digital detectives is more crucial than ever. The real question is, how will their job have to change to keep up with technology that's moving faster than we can even imagine?